We'll call the Center County Board of Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, August 15th to order here at 10 o'clock. Those who are able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, do we have any public comment for items not appearing on today's agenda? No, see some public here, but I know that for items that are on the agenda. So we will, any additions or changes? No?
That I'm aware.
All right. We'll move on to meeting minutes, changes to the minutes. No? Take a motion then.
I'll move to approve the minutes from meetings held August 1st, 2023.
I will second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the meetings held on August 1st. All those in favor do so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Now we'll move to proclamation number 34, proclaiming August 18th through 26th as Grange Fair Days in Center County. And we are joined by the fabulous mayor of Center Hall, LaDon Young, who is something of a historian of the Grange Fair. So, LaDon, please share your wisdom.
We are delighted to receive this proclamation. It is the 149th Great Grange Fair, so you can guess what we're getting ready for next year. But we don't want to overlook this year. We are very busy getting ready to present to you your third largest city. When we have all the 1,000 tents and 1,500 RVs full, we become the third largest town in Center Hall, the town of tents and RVs. So your population grows during this time. Of course, that has nothing to do with the population that's going to grow a whole bunch more in State College. I wanted to tell you, and the highlight this year is that we partnered with 40 local nonprofits, including schools, Granges, preschools, 4-H clubs, sports teams and churches, sports scouting groups, the YMCA. They sold advance admission tickets for a discount and got $2 for each one sold. We contributed $32,648 to those 40 organizations. We are delighted folks got to buy their tickets at a discount. These organizations got to make some money. It's a little bit different than the hoagie sales and the cookie sales and everything that everyone does. And so it enhances, and it's a situation where everyone benefits, and we're delighted with it. I wanted to also highlight there's another program that we have for nonprofits. For every hour a member of a nonprofit group spends working at our gates, we donate $10 to their organization. Last year, one of the organizations with one of the schools made over $1,000 towards their trip. So again, not only do we host you, and we're delighted to have the Great Grange Fair, but it's a way to partner with our community that goes beyond the 10 days of the fair. You should also know we're very proud. The Visitors Bureau informs us that the economic impact of Grange Park is between $16 and $20 million a year. So we're all that and a great fair too. So again, we're delighted to have this proclamation. You know, of course, that this is the only time you celebrate you're the only people that celebrate a town of tents, because we are indeed the last tenting fair in the nation. So we are indeed unique. So we're proud that you're proud of us.
Yes, LaDon, we're very proud. It's a unique, amazing fair, unique, amazing event. Your music committee, I don't know how they do it, but like every other year, they manage to pick who's going to be the big act within a couple years after that. And at the Grange Fair, I believe you can still see them for free, right?
It's part of your admission.
Yes.
If you
it's
pay a
part of
ticket to
your
get in the grounds, the grandstand, all the entertainment, the grandstand, the Southside Stage, the Jubilee Grove is all included in your admission.
And the,
And the competition track,
yes.
the world-class equine facility, it's all included. On Friday, the last Friday of the fair, there will be 26 horse hitches
oh my.
coming to the, yes, we had to construct Our latest project is a brand-new barn, and the stalls had to be 12 by 12. A Percheron takes a little more room.
Yes.
True, yes.
So we had to accommodate that. And so, again, as we're very proud of our equine center, and so it is adaptable to those beautiful, large animals. And so to have such a gathering, as far as we're aware, it's the largest gathering outside of the farm show.
Wonderful. And I see Ray from Planning is here. I know Planning spent a lot of time administering all of the grants that helped build that world-class equine facility. And also wanted to mention that the 3 commissioners will be there on Kids Day on Monday at, I believe it's 11 a.m., passing out free individual cups of Penn State Creamery ice cream and 5 flavors. I don't know if you have those flavors off the top of your head, John, or Natalie does.
Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, alumni swirl, peachy syrup.
So there they are, all 5.
Well, what you've done, and we're so thankful. We used to have, the dairy promotion people used to have the giant ice cream sundae. And of course, with COVID, that's forbidden now.
Yes.
And so what you've done is you've been so kind, and you've arranged to make a substitution for that, but little ones, not so little ones, get to have ice cream on Kitty's Day, and that's wonderful of you. We're most grateful. And of course, it's Penn State
Yes.
ice cream, so that's even nearer and dear to our hearts.
Well, Steve originally floated the idea, and Amber and I were like, that is an excellent idea, Steve. Let's make this
Well,
happen.
Steve's been up to his elbows in ice cream because he helps.
Yes.
He used to help to make the old sundae, so
back
he's
when-
well aware of why the decision was to maybe not do this.
But the nice thing is, it's tradition. And, you know,
Precisely.
and even though we had to tweak it a little bit,
Yep.
to keep that tradition and keep, you know, I'm sure that the dairy royalty will be there in attendance.
will.
to make
Oh
sure
my, yes! Don't
a
you
lot
doubt
of other folks
that.
help us out,
Well, and the Grange Fair Queen.
Yes.
exactly.
And her court. And we now have a new program this year, what we call for young ladies called the Junior Ambassador Program.
Oh.
And so, again, involving more youth in what we do. We've created, and I hope we haven't violated a copyright here, but we have created what we call Leadership Grange Fair. And we have 7 young people who are interning and in that program to learn more about, and hopefully we will be able to recruit them to serve on the fair committee in the future.
I noticed the sheriff's back there. We want to thank the sheriff for helping provide security at the
Oh,
fair, too.
he
Helpful.
provides the most wonderful program in the world, and that is the wrist bracelets
Yes.
for children and for those who wonder. I'm an old woman, and I've gone to Grange Fair for 70 years. And there was a time when a child was lost, you'd hear the loudspeaker come on and say, "Little Billy, he's wearing shorts and a green shirt,
Yeah.
and he's 4 and he's lost." And it's sort of like, okay, we don't do that anymore. And so those wristbands are just wonderful. I have to tell you, we belong to the Pennsylvania State Association of County Fairs, and at the conventions, we talk about what we do for safety, especially after what's all has been going on. And when I talk about that program, everyone is in awe that their commissioners and their sheriff participate in such an excellent program, because there isn't a fair or a carnival around that doesn't get lost little children.
So many interesting things to see and do when you're at
There's something for everyone at
Yes.
the Great Grange Fair.
So hopefully, I haven't hogged all the topics. Amber.
Okay, so I remember the ice cream sundae from when I was a kid. I think the first time I went to Grange Fair, I must have been about 10, because that's when we moved to Center County. It's just always been such a fun event, so I'm glad we're able to continue it on, even if in a slightly less messy fashion, so.
It's been my experience that 10-year-olds will eat ice cream. It doesn't matter.
Does not matter if it's messy, no, and the messier the better, maybe, but, yeah. So I'm so glad that we can
Steve used to be,
continue that.
because there's syrup involved, there's
Oh, yeah.
several large glass jars of machino cherries running down the side. I mean, it was,
I remember, it was
Yeah.
a big thing, yep. So, yeah, I'm really glad to hear we have so many youth that are getting involved and I think that Leadership Grange Fair program sounds like such an excellent idea. Because I'm
It's
sure,
occurred to us that we must, at 149, if we want 169, we have to develop those who will pick up the torch and continue. And believe me, it is quite an endeavor.
I can
People do not
imagine
realize
organizing
from
all
the
of that.
emergency program, emergency operation program that we must submit several months in advance to we have over 394 employees and volunteers. So putting that together, and again, it is estimated that we will have 12,000 people on the grounds staying there. I think it's interesting, people say to me about, 1,000 tents, that's 1,000 people, and it's sort of like, excuse me?
right now.
They open up that tent flap in the morning and it's like the clown car. I mean, every cousin, every
Oh, yeah.
grandchild, every whatever. So there's
And
more
for so
than-
many
Only at the
families,
Llamas and
it's like their
Kansas, I
family reunion, right?
That's what I tell
Yes.
people. When people say to me, what is this? We say it is the family reunion for Center County.
Yes.
It was interesting. Someone new who came last week, and so he came and he says, "Ma'am, can I ask you something?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "What's with the tents?" He was from about 3 miles away, and so I got out the brochure, and he said, "I thought it was a big Civil War encampment." And I said, "Funny you should say Civil War."
It's about that old.
Well, no,
almost.
that's what Leonard Roan borrowed, old Civil War tents.
Really?
In 1888. Mhm.
Yeah.
From
So
the
in
National Guard.
1888, was it an encampment that year then?
People had brought tents, even when it was a picnic at Leach's Woods. Bringing tents was a tradition. To that time, it was what an RV is now. And so traveling any distance, horses are wonderful, but they don't have headlights. So people would bring a tent to be able to stay and then go home. Well, that got to be, and there got to be so many, that in 1888, Roan borrowed or rented tents from the National Guard. And what do you think the National Guard got? Unfortunately, they end up with sort of what the Army doesn't want or doesn't need anymore. And so it was old Civil War tents. And to this day, if you watch John Wayne sometime, and you're going to see a campaign tent, that's a Grange Fair tent. It's got a wall tent. There's only one place that makes them for us anymore, and unfortunately this year we lost about 23. So we will be making a large purchase. They cost us over $1,000 a piece. So that's a very precious piece of canvas, we assure you.
And are you working on some kind of a documentary or something about Grange Fair? I saw this
It
posted.
is our 150th next year, and so we very much want to involve everyone. And we're talking about doing a then and now book. In other words, this is what it will look like before, and when the grandstand, for some of us who are old enough, remember it was wooden bleachers. Some people are still picking the splinters out,
Yeah.
and just a platform. The implements were what you pulled behind a horse. Now, oh my heavens, $70,000, $80,000 for a tractor. So the change is it. I should have also tell you that come Friday, we are going to be filmed by national PBS for a program next year. So talk about bringing publicity to Center
Yes.
County. We're certainly doing that.
Wonderful.
I do have to ask, since next year is the sesquicentennial.
Sesquicentennial.
Yes, well.
Barry
let's-
can't say that, but
let's-
Barry Yarnell is our fair committee president. So I have instructions to say 150th. He isn't saying that.
Well, assuming that you have some national act there next year that will just be splendid and amazing, like, I don't know if the Rolling Stones can reunite to do it. But
I don't think that's our crowd.
But assuming that's next year, what do we have this year to look forward to? Because I know we have some big acts coming.
The big one is on Friday. I don't have the brochure memorized. I'm sorry. It's Statler Brothers, isn't
Well,
it?
that's,
Oak Ridge Boys. I knew it was
Oh.
somebody.
So there you
know,
go.
see, he knows.
No.
Oak Ridge Boys.
hey, there you go.
But no, all of them are big. The young people on Saturday and Monday and Tuesday.
There's a lot of
They
good
are
acts
also
coming. That's
up
all
and
we need to
coming.
know.
Yes. Oh, no, they're very, very much up and coming. We work with Todd Bolin from Variety Attractions. And his predecessor, he purchased it from George Moffett. And George brought us a couple of people, you know, Kenny Chesney, Miranda Lambert,
Garth
Garth
somebody.
Brooks.
Yeah, I can-
I have to tell you, I was at the dentist office, and this lady said to me, "I hate you." And I thought, "Oh, dear John." Okay, I made you pay child support. And she said that she and her husband.
Not for that reason.
Her husband had come to the fair, and he said, "Oh, let's go to the grandstand." She said, "Oh, no, I'm hungry. Let's get French fries and go back to the tent." So, okay, well, who he wanted to see on the grandstand was Garth Brooks. And he had never let her forget that her French fries precluded them from seeing Garth Brooks. And then when he came to the Bryce Jordan Center and the tickets were a little more than the $5 they paid to get into the fair, it reminded him even more. So we have brought, yes, and people always say to me, "Oh, it's just," and then when you start, and you should know George Moffett was instrumental. Garth Brooks worked in the oil fields in Oklahoma, and he had tried a couple of seasons and was going to quit. And George said, "No, no, no, you
Need to go to the Grange Fair and get
That-
back.
that'll,
go to the Grange
Yeah.
Fair." And I remember Barb Bruggeborz interviewed him, and he said, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but I wear a hat indoors." And she said, "Well, that's okay." And he said, "Well, if you promise not to tell." So he took it off, and he was bald even then. He was, yeah, that was the reason for that
Wrong
big
with that.
signature hat. Yes, yes, yes. I won't say anything because I know there's others here that are follically challenged.
But I will say one thing. By giving us fair warning on Friday night that the Oak Ridge boys are coming, that means you need to arrive at the fair
Oh,
very
absolutely.
much ahead of time.
Yes.
You may recall, last year, we had the opening ceremonies on Friday, and some people had to run from the parking lot to be at the ceremonies on time. So this year, we've moved it to Thursday because we know it will be. And last year, because of staffing, again, we're still getting over COVID. I know it's been a while. Gate 3 could not be open. This year, Gate 3 will be
oh,
open.
good. All right.
All the gates will be open, and so we will be able to hopefully get everyone in. But we're well aware that there will be a lot of people coming to, there's excellent acts.
Look forward to being there.
Yes. Well, very definitely enjoy it. Anything
Gary
else,
has
Commissioner Concepcion?
Gary has one.
Gary has a question.
Well, Don, you've been doing the fundraising for nonprofits for a few years now, 3 years. Has it picked up each year?
Oh, yes. Oh, my, yes. As more and more people learned about it, as, for instance, my Grange this year made over $1,700. So it's also, as people hear more and more, because it's offered at a discount. So now people are calling us saying, and the power of Facebook, it's gotten to be far and away more popular. Absolutely. And again, an excellent program. It benefits, I dislike the cliche win-win. So it benefits many people, and it works out very, very well. Hoagies and pizzas and popcorn and all the things that the little ones come and have to sell, they're wonderful, but this is something that is very, very popular. So now the grandparents are delighted when they're doing these fundraisers.
Thank you.
Okay? Where's my proclamation?
I'd say, right here.
Come on.
Any,
We haven't, we
questions?
haven't voted on it yet.
Yeah, we haven't voted on it.
Still in deep deliberation.
Is there a chance it's not going to pass?
yet. I don't know.
Maybe
We'll find
lightning
out.
could strike or something, you know. You never know. Yeah. We'll do it quickly then,
Yes.
just in case.
So unless there's any other comments, I think we take a motion.
So I will move to adopt Proclamation 34 of 2023, proclaiming August 18th through the 26th, 2023 as Grange Fair Days in Center County.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second for a proclamation that must be passed quickly. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? We'll hit you over the head, or LaDon will. So come on up, LaDon.
Now
Let's
it's
give you the
official.
proclamation.
Okay.
It's official.
I have a fair to put on.
Why don't we bury over with you, you know, you can.
He's helping I told you, we lost 23 tents. They're putting
Oh, put new tents up.
new tents up.
right.
I'm telling you. No, and don't say lightning to us
Oh,
because
okay.
it's not been kind.
Well, last night there was a lot of rain over there.
Yes.
Rain doesn't bring down tents. Wind does. Thank you.
Press has what you need? All right. Great, thanks.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank
see
you,
you
thank
in
you,
a day or
thank you.
two.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Yes.
This
Thank
young lady
you.
came to us
Thank you,
last
thank
year
you.
and had an excellent experience.
Oh,
Yes.
very good. Very
I
good.
learned all about the educational programs, got to talk to a lot of students.
Oh,
It was
lots
wonderful.
of
Got drugged to
education.
the cow barn, she had to
Oh,
pass
yeah.
cows, she had to meet
Absolutely.
pigs,
Oh, yeah.
and she had to hold a bunny, you know.
Well,
Yeah, you gotta pet a
Yep.
bunny rabbit for a
Bunnies
while.
are good.
And a pig. You gotta pet a
Well,
pig.
and we have someone who regularly purchases
I've had
rabbits.
the grand champion rabbit last 4 fairs in a row.
Exactly, those children look forward
Got to
to it.
support the young people. Thanks,
Agriculture,
LaDonna.
it is the future
Yes.
of agriculture, that's why we're here.
Gotta
Okay?
eat. We gotta
Thank
eat.
you again all.
Thanks.
See you all at the Great Grange Fair.
There you go.
Thanks,
See you
LaDonna.
there.
Thanks, Don.
Yes. All right. We will move on to our resolutions. Resolution number 14 of 2023 and resolution 15. Mitzi, come on up and explain these resolutions.
I can't possibly top her, so.
No,
But I'm
no.
glad I was here. I got a nice history lesson, and I know which day to come to the Grange Fair so I can get ice
Yes.
cream. So Resolution 14 is the resolution authorizing the submission of the application for 2023 for your CDBG funds. And it basically directs CEDACOG to submit the application for you and gives permission to Commissioner Higgins to sign the application pages. Resolution 15 is the 504 compliance and grievance process resolution, which appoints or reappoints Krista Davis as your local 504 officer. And Resolution 16 is the fair housing officer resolution, which reappoints Betsy Bart as your county fair housing officer.
Great, thanks, Mitzi. And just a quick explanation, the CDBG is the Community Development Block Grant Program, and that's federal funding that allows the commissioners to assist on water projects, sewer projects, and then recently we've also assisted the Old Greg School, which is a heavily used community center in Penns Valley.
Correct. Low, moderate income residents of the county, yes.
All right, any questions, Commissioner Concepcion? All right, well, since LaDon can't be topped, let's move on quickly through these resolutions.
So I will move to adopt resolutions 14, 15, and 16 of 2023.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolutions number 14, 15, and 16 of 2023. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Mitzi.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll move on to bids and proposals. John has a request for proposal involving the Elections Department.
Good morning, Commissioners. So before you is a proposal to go out to bid to seek someone or providers to provide elections and voting equipment moving services, delivery and pickup to each of the 88 polling locations within Center County for the 2023 municipal election. The successful bidder would need to be fully bonded, of course, and provide all of the adequate insurances that would be required. All bidders would also have to submit their qualifications, licensing, prior experience, personnel listings, and financial status, all of which would be evaluated by an evaluation committee comprised of qualified personnel here at the county. The proposal to contract out the moving of elections equipment was reviewed by the Board of Elections, and they had one primary comment regarding security during the delivery of the equipment. So what we've done is we've incorporated in a chain of custody that would be utilized, and a county employee would accompany all of the deliveries. The ideal situation also would be that there'd be someone at the individual precincts to receive the equipment. If there's not, then there would be time-stamped pictures that would be taken. So at no time would the equipment be out of view of county personnel. There is a quick turnaround time on this. So we would issue if approved, we would issue the RFP on the 15th at noon. There would be a mandatory pre-proposal meeting on the 28th. at 11, where anyone that wanted to bid would have to be on site to get a good handle on what exactly would be required of them. There would be submission period for any questions, and then we would have responses, and then we would review proposals the second week of September, and then we would come back before you to issue notice of contract on September 26th for approval of the contract.
Thanks, John. Glad to hear that the chain of custody's been covered, and I know that it's been very disruptive for our facilities department because for centuries now, they have, done all of the setup and all of the tear down, which means a lot of things in the county buildings don't actually get taken care of for that 2-week period.
And they are aware, facilities folks are on standby if we were not to receive someone that was of satisfactory, for what we require, then of course we would have them do as they usually do.
So this is the first time this is being bid out to?
It is. It is. It's not a first, though. There are other counties that use this model, and our elections director is familiar with that process. So it wouldn't. It's new to the county. It's not new to our director.
Okay.
I would just say that this is a pretty big deal, and I would suggest that when we get those proposals, that the commissioners have an opportunity to review them to make sure that all the Ts are crossed and Is are dotted, because this is an important process that the folks need to understand the gravity of what it is they're doing and the responsibility that they're assuming.
Absolutely.
What are the expected, respondents to this? Would you think some people who own moving companies, or?
Yes. Yeah, transportation companies, moving companies, folks that would have they'd have to meet, there's a technical form that would need to be filled out that shows that they have adequate personnel as well as the equipment that would be needed to move the equipment.
Yeah, we've always been renting the equipment. Now, hopefully, we've got people to help out.
Yes.
To Commissioner Jershem's point, we're going to have to look at this carefully, and we're going to need to make sure that we do have county staff monitoring everything as it's moved around by the third party.
Yes.
Any additional questions?
No.
All right.
Curious to see what we receive in proposals.
Agreed. Okay, so I will move to approve the advertisement of the request for proposals for transportation of elections voting equipment.
We have a motion and a second to approve advertisement of a request for proposal for transporting the elections voting equipment. All those in favor do so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, thanks, John. Now back to Mitzi for a couple of items for the Community Development Block Grant.
This is for approval of your modification to your 2020 and 2021 Haynes-Aaronsburg Water Well Rehab Project. The original 2020 and 2021 project was awarded a competitive CV allocation of CDBG funds, and the original project constructed a new water main to replace the old deteriorated cast iron main that was leaking. It also brought well number 4 online, built the piping to connect well 4 to the water treatment plant, and then the treatment plant into the distribution system. Because of the competitive funding award, the project was able to move forward, had enough funding, and actually came in under budget. So that left a remaining balance of $60,970.73 to be modified with the full allocation of 2021 into a Phase 2 of the Haynes-Aaronsburg Water Well Rehab Project. Phase 2 will purchase emergency generators and auto transfer switches so that the whole system is more modernized. And the 21 modification is the same full amount. There's no additional or less money. It is just to change the name of the project to the Phase 2.
That's good news, having a project come in under budget.
It's very unusual nowadays, but yes.
Wonderful. Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
Glad to see these moving along.
Commissioner Jersham? All right.
Okay, I'll move to approve the planning and community development items 1 and 2.
I will second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 2 items for planning and community development. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Mitzi.
Thank you.
Now we'll bring Ray up for some affordable housing grants from the commissioners. This is a innovative program. I think we started last year, and now we're doing another round.
Actually, it was 2021 already. Sorry about that.
Multiple years.
So, yeah, we talk about impacts from 2021 and 2022. This cash program has benefited up to 9 units of residential housing here in Center County for a total of over $150,000. Today, we come to the commissioners for the 3rd year of the cash program, the Construction, Acquisition, Rehabilitation for Sustainable Housing Program, which is born out of the Act 137 program here in the Register and Recorder's Office, that where we collect $11.50 off of every mortgage and deed and so forth. The 3 projects this year that we're recommending, number 1, we recommend the State College Community Land Trust housing rehab and preservation of 2 single-family homes in State College Borough. They're asking for $30,000 for that rehab project. Habitat for Humanity, our 2nd project of Greater Center County, is for a whole construction of a home in Center Hall Borough. It will include energy efficiency for the single-family home in the amount of $25,000. And then our 3rd project we're recommending is for the Home Foundation for acquisition and rehabilitation of a single-family home to sell to a first-time home buyer within State College Borough in the amount of $55,000. There were a total of 6 applications. These 3 rose to the top, meeting all the criteria within the application that we provided back on June 14th. I believe today we have 2 representatives from
Wonderful.
One from Habitat for Humanity, which is Stephanie Faust, and I believe Lori Walters from State College Community Land Trust, if they'd like to come up and, I guess, present a couple
Yeah, that'd be great.
Great, yeah.
presentation on their projects.
Thank you, Rick. Thanks.
The commissioners very much enjoy partnering with our local affordable housing nonprofits. So.
We really appreciate this support. My name is Lori Waters. I'm the Real Estate and Stewardship Coordinator for the Land Trust. And yeah, truly we just continue to see the need for affordable housing, both in Center County as a whole, and particularly in State College and the State College Borough. So these funds will enable us to do rehab on 2 properties. One will be a new acquisition that we purchase here at the end of August, and it was a great opportunity. A homeowner in the borough contacted us looking to sell their home to us, and we just, we welcome those opportunities. We've been really grateful that that's continued to happen, that we can continue to grow the program in that way. So we'll use those funds for rehab on that property, and then the other bit of the funds will be used on another property that's already in our program, but had a difficult situation where a homeowner actually passed away in the home and didn't have a will, didn't have any other family members. So we're going to be repurchasing that home and then using some of these funds to do the rehab that will be needed. So a great opportunity for us to get in there, do some more energy efficient kind of upgrades, because that home has been in the program since 2003, so it's been a little while since we've had a chance to be in there and doing some of the work. So we really appreciate your continued support. Very much appreciated.
Great, thanks for the presentation, Lori. So 2 homes with the State College Community Land Trust. And how many homes are we up to now?
At the end of the month, we're actually purchasing 2 here at the end of the month, so we'll be up to 55 homes. We've served 78 households, so we'll be into the 80s by into 2024. So really great, yeah.
That's great, thanks.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. I think we have Stephanie from Habitat for Humanity.
Good morning, everyone. I just first want to say thanks to Ray and Betsy. When they started this program in 2021, we received $25,000, so very similar to what we're receiving right now. And 2 weeks ago, so it's been a blur. I just came back from vacation. So 2 weeks ago, we held a dedication for that home. The home was completed, and it's in Phillipsburg Borough. That was a home that had been vacant for 16 years, blighted property. It was rough. We thought we were going to save it, and then my construction supervisor and I rode up there, and we were like, how about not? So that property was donated to us, but as you can imagine, there's cost to take it down. And at first, we thought we were going to just secure it until it came down, and then we were like, it needs to come down. So it was taken down within 2 weeks of us taking ownership of the property by professionals. No volunteers on that one. But that home, that actually now houses twin sisters, so Tara and Jessica. They were born, Jessica was born, they were both born early. Jessica was born with significant medical disabilities, and Tara is her caregiver. And then Tara's 2 teenage children also are living in the home. For the last almost 5 years, they have been renting a location in Tyrone. Jessica is disabled, so she does not work, but Tara works for Penn State. And so they have been commuting, but Tara also has been sleeping on the couch because she rented a 3-bedroom property. And when you have an adult sisters, and 2 teenage children of opposite gender, they don't share bedrooms. And so I know Betsy and Ray, they've had an opportunity to volunteer at that home. They did some painting and things of that sort. But this is a partnership with Center County Housing and Land Trust for that property. But I just want to say thank you, because in 2021, that was, $25,000, we'll take this house down. And now that's, a young family living in that and changing their situation from Tara said, I don't need a bedroom. And we were like, yeah, 1, HUD, yes, you do need a bedroom. But 2, you do need a bedroom. You've given up and you're working so hard and doing all the right things. So for her to have the opportunity to own a home for less than what she is renting a home now is incredible. So thank you, Ray and Betsy, for that.
Another small example of the revitalization of Phillipsburg.
Right. And that's the piece of partnering with the Land Trust for that. So it is the same thing of, that's a continued progress for us as an organization, as we know that home values are not only increasing, wherever in Center County. Phillipsburg is a piece of that. So in 10 years, are they going to be where Bellefonte is now? Probably financially for cost of homes. The home appraised, we had the appraisal done for it, and the home appraised close to $200,000. And this is a modest home. It's a 4-bedroom because, again, the family composition requires that. It's a 4-bedroom, about 1,700 square feet. And without maintaining that long-term affordability of the partnership with the Land Trust, us building it, so you have that savings, but then the partnership with the Center County Housing and Land Trust is incredibly important. So for this property, this is Center Hall. Our focus as an organization is making sure that we're doing work all across the community. So we have a property under construction in Patton Township right now. We just finished up Phillipsburg. And then this lot in Center Hall is actually adjacent to another lot we'll start as soon as this one's finished. So this is actually our first projects in Center Hall Borough. I'm sorry that LaDawn left, because I feel like she could have added something to us. This homeowner was already selected. Our homeowners have to do 350 hours of sweat equity towards their home. We broke ground the day before the dedication of Phillipsburg. We broke ground, and Hall Bakers did the excavating for us. Walls were set the next day. Our homeowner, Mandy, was able to watch that with her 8-year-old son. And I didn't get to do that for my house. I don't think any of us got to do that for our house. And she was approved at our board meeting in March. She started her hours in April, and she has 189 hours left. So if you think about math, I just did it on my phone. She's done 40 hours of service to our organization each month in the last couple of months. We were just talking about this morning, she's going to have her hours finished before the home is finished. But she's getting to take part in the construction of her home, which I think is just a special opportunity that, not even all of our homeowners get that too, because it's a rehab and it's a quick process or something of that. But Mandy was super excited. She lives currently in Pleasant Gap. She's going to take ownership of this home, Center Hall, we're hoping next spring. These funds are just for the basic construction of this home. We aim every one of our homes to be modestly simple. 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bath, unless the family composition requires something different. And we hope that they are energy efficient for our homeowners. We actually, for the Phillipsburg house, which all of our construction is generically the same, we did our blower door test. The numbers came back from that amazing. I believe we did our HERS score, which, again, construction supervisor would know those things, not me. But our HERS score, the average new construction is 100. Our home came in at 63. So you want to be below that 100. Yeah. But for the energy efficiency of that home, and that's just simple. It's increased insulation. It is making sure you're applying energy efficient products, because we want these homeowners to make their monthly payment and be able to afford that. And we want to know that in 20 years, they can also afford their heating and cooling bills, because all of that together needs to be reasonable for them. So we're really excited about this project. Again, like I said, it's our first one in Center Hall ever. We've done Spring Mills and Millheim and all of that, but this one is Center Hall Borough, dead end street, very sweet little street. We're not sure if the neighbors like us yet, but they will soon. But they always, Larry, you guys have met Larry, our construction supervisor. They'll warm up to him quickly, and they'll get to meet those homeowners. Mandy and her son sat on the opposite side of the street in lawn chairs and watched Hall Bakers and Advanced Concrete dig and set those walls and stuff. And so, I mean, just that opportunity was incredible for them, and also for the vendors that were out there working for us that day. So you guys are a piece of that, and Ray and Betsy are also a huge piece of that. So thank you guys. We appreciate it.
And she's going to be able to walk to the Great Grange Fair next year.
She's going to be able to almost walk to work, and they're close enough to the elementary school. If her son ends up going, I think he goes to Young Scholars right now, we'll be able to walk to the elementary school right there. So it's an awesome opportunity.
Wonderful.
Yep. Thank you guys for your continued support.
You're welcome. Thanks. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Any questions, Commissioner Concepcion?
Just a note that this is going to change the trajectory for entire
Right.
families.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's our hope. You know, we always, you know, they sign a 30-year mortgage, and just like Lori says, we don't, like, they're in the same situation. You never know if somebody's going to stay there for 40 years or if they're going to stay there for 5 years, but you just want that benefit for them for however long it helps their family.
Commissioner
So,
Pittsman?
No, it's all great, and Habitat does such a fantastic job with so many different things, and I think you're going to be helping us with some housing rehab here
Yep.
through the Adult Services Department.
yep. So Julie's team, they've been great to work with. Faith and Jeff and Rachel have been amazing to work with. We've started with the Whole Homes Repairs Act. They've started the case management side of stuff, and that is going to provide some much needed repairs for members of our community under 80% area median income that, you know, I think most of the folks that are coming in and are applying, a lot of them are older. A lot of them need basic things repaired. This is not wants, this is needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So that
Thank you,
will be-
guys.
We'll be helping 4 more families here in Center County be able to have affordable homes. Great, thank you very
Thank you all.
much. Ray, was there anything else you wanted to cover?
At this point, no, I think our partners, we couldn't do it without them, and thank the commissioners for this impact of funding to go towards the, you know, almost 13 houses in 3 years. That's just amazing. So really appreciate the support.
I do have one question. The Home Foundation project, could you review that? I'm trying to remember all the details, and I can't.
That is a rehab, I believe, on Walnut Street for the Home Foundation. They've acquired that property, and putting towards that rehab is $55,000. It's a very small starter home. It's in an area, a neighborhood that is accessible to services, jobs, and also transit. So I thought there was an advantage to having that as a recommendation.
Will that house be part of any other, again, like the State College Land Trust keeps it in perpetuity? Will this be the same thing that house will be in?
Correct, Steve. Yes, they will have a partnership that will keep that home in affordability for 99 years through a deed.
That's what I
Yes.
wanted to.
All 3 of these projects have that. That's the benefit of the partnerships that have occurred here with these applications.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yep, you're correct.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ray. Unless there's any questions, I think we could take a motion on our 3rd round of affordable housing grants.
So I'll make a motion to approve the cash program applications on the agenda.
We have a motion and a second to approve the construction and acquisition rehabilitation for sustainable housing program applications. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Ray. All right. And is Jeremy out in the hallway for the prothonotary, or would you cover that, John?
Sure, sure. So before you, for consideration, is the approval of a contract with OCV. It's called the Gov app, to create a digital app for the Center County Prothonotary and the Clerk of Courts. The contract total is $26,975 with a yearly maintenance fee of $59.95. It will be paid through the Prothonotary's data automation funds. It's an app that helps automate some of the services and that are provided through the Prothonotary's office, and in particular with a lot of the construction activity that's occurring. the Thonotary thought that this would be a good way to help offset maybe some of that foot traffic.
Good. So it'll make the court records a little more organized and more accessible to the public.
Yes.
Great. Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
I think that's anything we can do to make it easier for the public to do the business they need to do with the county.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
I'm good, thank you.
All right.
So I'll move to approve the contract with OCV LLC, DBA thegovapp.com.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the contract for the Prothonotary's office. All those in favor do so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Now we'll move on to Human Resources, and Kristen's all ready to go.
I am. I have two items before you today. The first one is approval of a memorandum of agreement with Penn State Corporate Learning Executive Programs. We provided this series in the spring, and we had 11 total enrollees, 7 that completed it. Those that missed a couple courses will then take it again this fall to get the certification in supervision and management supervision. We already have 7 people signed up for the fall. 7 additional, so we're looking for approval of this. This is paid through in-kind funds. This is through the end of the year, and then I'll be back again probably in January to do spring and fall of next year.
Well, that's great, Kristen, and thanks for moving this forward. Very happy to help provide management training to county employees.
We've received a lot of good feedback from those that have attended.
Sounds wonderful. Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
No, just I'm glad to see we're providing this. I think it's important to invest in the staff we have, and to help them see a future in county government of, being able to proceed through their career here with us. So.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
Yeah, and, I think the other thing that's of note is that these are in-kind funds that,
Yeah.
that we have through Penn State, and I think this is a pretty productive use for spending those funds down, so good work.
Yeah, the ice cream is nice, but this is for the long haul.
That's
Long
right.
long haul. All right, Commissioner Concepcion, take a motion, I think.
I will move to approve the memorandum of agreement with the Pennsylvania State University.
We have a motion and a second to approve the memorandum of agreement with the Pennsylvania State University. All those in favor do so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And then you've got another item for us, Kristen.
Yes, mine is for the contract renewal with Power DMS, or digital management software, through NeoGov. They provide a online document management system for our policies. We have trainings out there. And then we also are able to provide all of the documents or files, policies for different departments as well, such as the correctional facility, the sheriff's office, the courts. We're able to designate which of our employees see which policies, which apply to them, and we can confirm that they've received them and read them, and it gives all of the employees access to them at any time, right through the online system.
Thanks, Kristen. Over the long haul, we don't have to keep all that paper either. It's all online.
We don't have to update manuals every time we make a change to a policy.
Yes, across 52 different departments.
Correct.
Commissioner Concepcion, any questions? Commissioner Dershowitz? All right.
I will move to add the contract with NeoGov for Power DMS to next week's consent agenda.
We have a motion and a second to add the contract with NeoGov for the Power DMS software to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kristen. Right now we have Dave Lamison, who knows all about the music acts at Grange Fair.
Well, I know the first one because
All right.
I hope to be there.
All right.
Yeah, that's my plan. Certainly a group I've grown up with since a little boy. They were a gospel group back in the
really?
70s, yes. And we used to go see them at the farm show twice a year, but yes. I come before you today with 3 different items. The first one would be for you to approve the submission of our fourth quarter fiscal year report for 22-23 for the Medical Assistance Transportation Program. This is a requirement by medical assistants that the fourth quarter final report for the fiscal year is signed off by the commissioners and approved with their blessing. The total amount for the fourth quarter was $220,485 for the period April 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2023, and it's just a stamp of approval that what we submitted is what we did. And I'm pretty sure that my staff has all those Ts crossed and Is dotted for that report. The second item is for a contract renewal with Susquehanna Regional Transportation Authority. And what that contract does is it provides the opportunity for individuals with medical assistance that have a different supplement that allows them to go other places that's funded by the Susquehanna Regional Authority through Geisinger Health and different entities that they're covered through. Otherwise, they're only restricted to medical appointments, but this allows these individuals to do a grocery shopping trip and various things. Susquehanna schedules those trips and sends them to us. It fits in with they know our scheduling process and the likes of that, so they coordinate with our staff, schedule the trips, and then we take them. Susquehanna reimburses us 100% for the trips in, as if they serve as a contractor for us to do these trips. This is the second round with this. We've had one in place for a couple of years, so it's just a renewal. It's slow to take off, but of course it all started with COVID, so that slowed everything down. But it does increase. It seems to be increasing, and more people are using it. So it's a nice option for individuals that live in Center County to have access to other things beyond their medical needs. The third item is a contract renewal for our facility at the transportation office in Milesburg with Jeff and Trudy Reese, the owners. We would like to ask for another 3-year agreement that starts on September 1st. It's a 3-year process that they've agreed to. We've asked for before. The total contract for this next year would be $46,818 for the 1 year, and then at the end of each year, do you want to raise it? Do you want to keep it the same? And the most it can raise is 2%. I will say that the rate this year is the first raise in the previous 3 years, so it's not something that they do every year, but their increases did go, their costs did go up with taxes and stuff, so they asked for the 2% for this next round. But obviously the facility works great for us, meets our needs for the vehicles, for cleaning and storage of disabled vehicles that we tend to get rid of, so it does work well for us. So I ask for consideration of that as well.
Great. I would definitely like to thank the Reeses for being such great landlords for the Transportation Department. Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
So a question about the Susquehanna contract.
Yes.
So are they providing the rides, or is our transportation?
No, we are, Commissioner.
They're simply
They
coordinating with the
coordinate it, correct.
Okay.
Yes. The individuals that fall under that funding source books the rides through Susquehanna. They in turn submit the rides to us, and we schedule them and take them, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And they're coordinating with the Medicaid or whatever
Oh,
insurance?
yes, yeah, all we do is bill Susquehanna.
Okay.
Yep, so we're out of that other process. Most of these rides that we are doing are funded through a Geisinger program that these people have through medical assistance currently, but the other players in the state are starting to get involved, so I anticipate it's going to grow with the other major medical providers throughout the state, yes.
Thank you.
It's almost a statewide project now that most every transportation provider, such as us, has joined on because it benefits us. It gives us more latitude to take those individuals when we normally couldn't. Yeah.
So it's a good service to our community.
Yes.
No, I just want to thank the Reese family for being
Absolutely.
great partners with us, and just so I think we're clear, I can assume that although it says possible 2%, I think it's almost assumed that with inflation and all the other increased costs of doing business, that we probably will be receiving a 2% increase every year. Just
Well, possibly, but knowing the way they have been the last 3 years, I would say unless they look at their tax bill and it went up more, they'll probably just leave it there. That's what they've done. So they've The only reason they raised it for the next round is, like I said, they did say, well, our costs went up over the last couple of years, so maybe we should bump it. And I told them, I said, that's not asking for much at all, but they've been great landlords for the county. Yes, yes.
Thanks, David. I think we're ready for motion.
I will move to add transportation items 1 through 3 to next week's consent agenda.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adding the 3 items for transportation in next week's consent agenda, do so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
And now Leah will come up from Children and Youth Services for 4 items.
Yes, good morning. So I am here this morning to ask for your consideration for your approval of our fiscal year 24-25 needs-based plan and budget. And so our needs-based plan and budget is a very lengthy process that requires us to review the successes and challenges that not only our office has experienced, but also juvenile probation for fiscal year 22-23. And then we take that information, looking at the data and trends that we've seen in the families and children that we're serving, and assess our current service array and any needs that we think we might have for 24-25, and then project what those needs may be, any changes that we need for our services and our priorities, and then any costs associated with those services. So it is a very lengthy process that requires a lot of review and just trying to project what we think the world's going to look like in a few years. And so through that process, we have developed a proposed budget for the total state budget being $16,110,052, with the county share at $3,204,094. That's about a 10% increase from what we requested in 23-24, and that's aligns with the increases that we've seen over the past fiscal years. Most of those increases are due to our salary and benefits increasing for our staff in our retention and recruitment efforts, but also some slight increases for our contracted providers. So as you know, we contract a lot of our services out so that the duties that are requiring for our staff to do are really what is regulated for them to occur and statutorily required. Anything that we can contract out, we do in the hopes of providing preventative services to keep our placements low. And we are successful at keeping our out-of-home placements low. The other issue with our costs is that placement costs are high. When you're looking at the children that we have coming into care, their needs are very complex. They require a higher level of supervision and a higher level of care compared to other children that are chronically the same age as they are, and that may mean higher costs in terms of providing those obtaining those that can provide that level of care. We hope to impact that cost moving forward by increasing the retention of our current foster parents by providing more supports and services to help them feel better prepared and equipped to parent those children, as well as our staff in being able to guide and support our foster parents, but then also to utilize that to recruit additional folks in Center County that may be willing to open up their homes to our children and have them placed here. Some of the additional impacts that we've seen over this last fiscal year and then carrying into 24-25 is some Title IV-E funding limitations. So there are some limitations to federal funds now that we hadn't experienced in years past. They require us to only be able to draw down federal funding for about 46% of our children in care, and then there's limitations as far as if they're placed in a congregate care setting, we are only able to draw down funding for 14 days of congregate care, so that's a huge impact. It has also impacted our ability to request or assess parents for child support if their children are 4E eligible. So again, we've always had a good working relationship with domestic relations and not assessing for child support if we thought that it was going to impact reunification, but this does narrow the pool of parents that we are able to ask for support. So those are just some things to consider and reasons why we may be seeing some of our increased costs. We also did request additional funding for the CenterCrest project to be able to contribute to those costs as well. And so those are the big pieces for our needs-based plan and budget for 24-25.
Thanks for the explanation, Leah. One of the county's largest departments, possibly our most complicated single department budget, because you're funding other departments as well. But we would, commissioners would like to thank Children and Youth staff for doing a very, very difficult job, 365 days a year, 24/7, We'd also like to thank the nonprofits and other organizations that we work with to provide all the services for our children in need. Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
So thanks for your work on this and for thinking ahead about how do we recruit and retain caseworkers and CYS. It's just so critical to the future of our community that we do this well. And I can tell you're really focused on, like, how do we make sure we have as close as possible to a full complement of caseworkers and retaining them. So I really hope you'll continue to keep the commissioners in the loop and to let us know what support you need. So.
Yes, Commissioner Gershon.
Well, we have Tara and Sandy here with us as well.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank them for their hard work, because this is a complicated document, and it goes in 50 different directions at the same time, and to make all those things happen, you've done a fantastic job. So thank you, and thank the rest of your staff for keeping the children of Center County safe.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks.
And I think this is something we probably need to really continue to keep our state legislators in the loop on, the complexity of the needs that we're seeing, so that they're aware of what's happening here with families and some of these kids who have just really incredibly complex needs, and the cost that's coming to counties of providing those needs. And it's not that we don't want to take care of, we want to make sure those kids are well taken care of. But, it's, some of these situations are complex, so.
The regulations don't ever seem to be less complex.
No, they do not, and there's not a lot of wiggle room with them. So we get creative where we can get creative, but at the end of the day, we still have regulatory requirements that we have to meet. So we are constantly, our team is constantly looking at what can we do, where is the wiggle room, what can we get creative with, and how can we best meet a child's needs in their home environment first and foremost, and then if we can't, what's the next best option for them, and then how do we kind of work backwards to get them back into the community. So that is our focus day in and day out, and some scenarios are a little bit easier to work through than others, but we are doing our best. So thank you for your support and guidance through this, and being open to ideas and thoughts that we have on what can help our families and our staff. So thank you.
Thanks. Yes, thanks again to your staff. Anything else? Would you take a motion on the first one?
I will move to approve the fiscal year 24-25 needs-based budget for children and youth services.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the fiscal year 24-25 needs-based budget for children and youth services, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, on to item number 2.
So item number 2 is tied to our fiscal year 24-25 needs-based budget, in that it's required to be submitted at the same time. So there's no cost associated with this, but this is the data sharing agreement for our child welfare information system. So the state system, that is their case management system, that we are required to communicate with through our data and provide them with the regulatory requirements as our outcomes and different things. That is the systems, those two systems that talk. So this agreement just allows us to have that communication and meet those regulatory requirements, but there are no costs associated with the agreement itself. And then the final 2 items that I have for you. Yeah,
Take them one at a time.
absolutely, you got it.
Sure. I will move then to approve the contract renewal with Child Welfare Information System.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the contract renewal with Child Welfare Information Systems, do so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, now the third one.
Perfect, thank you. The third item that I have for you is a contract renewal with Lifespan Family Services. They provide foster care to delinquent and dependent youth. The contract period is for July 1st of 2023 through June 30th of 2024. And the total contract is for $25,000 with the county share at $5,000. And then the final item that I have is the contract renewal with Keystone Adolescent Center, Incorporated, to also provide foster care and residential services for our dependent and delinquent youth. This contract total is for $145,000, and the county share is $29,000 for a period of July 1st of 2023 to June 30th of 2024.
Thanks. Any questions on the last 2? No? All right.
I will move to add the Children and Youth Services contracts 3 and 4 to next week's consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor of adding the contracts 3 and 4 for children and youth services to next week's consent agenda, do so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thanks, Leah. All right, we have a fairly short consent agenda.
I will move to approve this week's consent agenda.
We have a motion and a second to approve this week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We'll move on to our liquid fuels, project funded by the Fee for Local Use.
So before you for approval is the liquid fuels check to Burnside Township in the amount of $20,000 for the drainage improvement project, which replaces several pipes on Main Street, Vidorfer Road, Sunset Drive, and Hilltop Drive. The work is complete. If you recall, you approved the application back in April, and the match of liquid fuels funding was $20,000. The Pennsylvania Department of Transportation's district office has signed off on the work as being acceptable and complete, and now is the time to approve the release of the liquid fuels funds in the amount of $20,000.
Okay. I will, if there are no questions, I'll move to approve the liquid fuels check for Burnside Township in the amount of $20,000.
We have a motion and a second to approve the liquid fuels check for Burnside Township for $20,000. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Move on to the check run.
So the check that I'd like to pull out from, to recognize in this week's check run is Central Pennsylvania Community Action, and in line with some of the discussion we had today about housing affordability, this is a group that serves residents of Center and Clearfield counties and helps connect them to what they need to be able to afford to stay in their home, and whether it's regard to weatherization, heating and fuel supplies. It's an excellent group for community members to contact to help them connect to services they might need to in that regard. And with that, I will move to approve the check run dated August 11th, 2023.
We have a motion and a second to approve the check run dated August 11th. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Is there an administrator's report, John?
Nothing to report at this time.
We'll move over to the voters registration report from Commissioner Dershowitz.
All right, this morning we have 99,743 registered voters in Center County. That's up 81 voters, and I'd like to report that the Democratic Party has 41,941 registrations, the Green Party 132, Libertarian Party has 596, no affiliation 13,407, and the Republican Party has 40,589. And when you add the one Adarian Party member to the 3,077 other smaller units of county parties, you end up with that 99,743 number. The featured precinct of the week is precinct number 19, which is State College South 1, which votes at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Center County. And in the last election, there were 1,685 registrations. There were 234 ballots cast, which led to a percentage voter turnout of 13.89%. And I'd like to thank again the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship for allowing us to use their facility, and we'll be back in November.
Great.
That's it.
Thanks, Steve. John, are there any executive sessions to report or hold?
No executive sessions to report or hold.
All right, and the public meeting schedule for the remainder of the week, we had a work session that was going to start about 8 minutes ago. I think we'll take a short break and then go into that. Next week, Tuesday, we have a Board of Commissioners meeting at 10 a.m. Thursday, the 24th, we have a combined Salary Board and Board of Commissioners meeting at 10 a.m. We'll take questions from the very patient press at this point.
John, the proposal on moving voting machines, does that include any provisions on the handling or moving of the mail-in drop boxes?
I do not believe so, no.
That'll still be done?
I believe so. That wasn't included in the... No, it was not. That would still be handled by our folks.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Unless there's anything else for the good of the order, I think we take a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor do so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. We're adjourned at 11:09. Take a couple-minute break and then go into the work session.